What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't already know, my name is Justin Fu, and I'm a small business owner of a digital marketing and creative agency right here in San Diego, California. Thanks to all your guys' feedback at home, I was able to choose the lighting setup of your preference. And it was a pretty unanimous layout number 4. So here we are. It's fully lit up, and hope you guys enjoy the setup. It will stay like this for the foreseeable future. Also, in the last video, I was a little hesitant about the length of the video and the topic that I was talking about. And I asked for your feedback as well to see if it's something you would want to see a part 2 of. And turns out you did. You did want to see more of that type of content. So here I am. I'm going to be doing a part 2 to that video today. Without further ado, let's get going. Another thing that I did when I first launched my business that I would never do again is I offered too many services too fast, and I spread myself too thin. When I first launched the business, I was offering every service under the sun. Paid social media marketing, organic social media marketing, email marketing, website development, graphic design, video production, photography. It was like crazy. Honestly, I was just depleted from doing all of that stuff in my past corporate career. Well, at least some of that stuff. And I didn't pick and choose what services I wanted to perform when I launched the business. I was just like, you know what, I'll do it all. Why did I do that? Because I just thought people needed it out there in the world, and I thought that's the quickest way that I could scale my business. Well, what ended up happening is I eventually was so depleted, I didn't want to do those services myself. So I ended up hiring people to do it for me. What happens in terms of a payroll standpoint is that you have to hire all these different category experts from all these different fields of work, and therefore my overhead got really, really big. If I could distill this down to one singular problem, is I was too mission driven. Which means my mission was to do as many services as I can for as many clients to the best of my ability. Instead, I should have been more vision driven, right? I should have done a 25-year, 15-year trajectory of where I wanted the company to be later down the line so that I could start to build the foundation of the business on day one. Instead, it took me about a year to figure out those mistakes, and then I had to course correct, in which we did, but you know, 12 months is a long time to figure out a very expensive mistake. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you today is so that you can course correct now, whether it's day 1 of your business or day 675, it's never too late to course correct. So my recommendation to you is to offer services that you know you can do really, really well, and also you enjoy really, really doing it, right? If you find the mesh between those two things, that's gonna be the perfect service for you. And that way, you'll get to a point where you'll know how to price it, you'll know how to offer the service, you'll know how to perform and execute, follow up, and clients will know you for that specific thing. It's kind of like the In-N-Out business model. You hear a lot of people talk about that. You know you go there for burgers and fries, you know that they only have 4 things on their menu, 110% quality almost every single time. They're consistent, their quality is good, and you know what you're getting. That's kind of the business model that I advocate for. And that's what I'm recommending to you. To the next one, number 4, my contracts were not solid. And the problem is pretty simple, right? If your contracts are not solid, then it can cause a lot of headaches for you and your relationship with your clients. A client project that I had that was only supposed to last 5 months ended up taking 1 year to complete. There was some loose ends in my contract where I didn't say that I was needed to get paid for the overtime that I was doing. I didn't say that specifically in there. I just thought intuitively, if I work over, then you'll pay me extra. It didn't work that way. And their legal department sniffed it out, and they pretty much said that they don't need to compensate me for those things because it's not in my legal contract. And they were pretty much 100% right. It was my fault because I was trying to go by the spirit of the law and not the letter of the law. But when you work for big organizations, they don't do that because they're evil and they're conniving. They just do that because it's what the paper says, right? Some people are just black and white like that. So that was my mistake, and I really am telling you this because I don't want you to make that mistake either. Some solutions I have for you is this. You know, spend an exuberant amount of time on your contracts and make sure it outlines exactly what you do as a service, how much it will cost, how long it will take for you to do that, and all the over expenditures that are going to be required if projects get delayed or pushed back, or the client's not being good with feedback. A resource that I use is Rocket Lawyer. They have a lot of preset contracts for you depending on what type of services you're going to offer, or if you're hiring someone for like a 1099 contract. There's a lot of different templates on there, and you can customize every single one of them, but it's preset with like really strong legal copy. So real quick guys, side note, there is a guy just cleaning the crap out of this Idea One apartment complex right now, and he's doing the lawn blower thing, and it is super loud. So if you are hearing that and the mic, this boom mic is picking it up, I'm so sorry. And the very last topic is number 5. I got too complacent with networking. The first year and a half of my business, I was out there in the world. You know, I was working in any public place that I can find, whether it be coffee shops or restaurants or parks. And then eventually I made the investment of working at a co-working space. So I chose WeWork. And that was probably the best decision that I could have ever made. Some of the biggest projects that I've had and the biggest clients that I've ever worked with came from the network connections that I made at WeWork. And things were going great, business was growing, and then I got complacent. And I was like, you know what, I'm good. And I took a break for 1 month, and then 1 month turned into 5 months. And how that affected me personally is, you know, you are who you surround yourself with. I'm a true believer in that quote. And my circle started to diminish very quickly as soon as I got complacent in networking. And my learning curves became a lot longer and a lot harder because I had no resources or people to turn to for advice or for strategy or just, you know, for consultation. My solution to you is pretty simple. Network yourself. Get out there, work in public places as much as you can. If there's a share working space, go get yourself a membership there. It's definitely worth the investment, but you gotta be proactive. Don't just think that's enough, right? You're not gonna just sit there and people are gonna walk up and tap up your shoulder and say, hey, what's up? Who are you? What are you doing? Sometimes that happens. Go out and put yourself out there. Make a fool of yourself a few times. Go through that learning curve, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be awesome. As long as you stay true to who you are, you stay kind, you stay humble, and you're not going out there to try to get something for yourself. You're just there to be present and to give as much as you can. And that brings us to a close of part 2 of 5 things I would do differently if I were to restart my business all over again. I hope these tips and pieces of advice from my personal experience were helpful to you. Again, I'm not saying all of this is right and true. What I do mean is that it is right and true for me. If you do have any questions, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to the channel. I would really, really appreciate it. But if there's nothing else, be well, be safe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Oh, happy Memorial Day weekend too. Later, guys.